I want you to try a little mental exercise with me for a second. Close your eyes, unless you're driving, of course, and just imagine a sound.
Okay.
Picture something cold, mechanical. Maybe the rhythm of a giant factory press or the hum of a server farm late at night. It's robotic,
Yeah. The
detached.
sound with no blood in its veins.
Exactly. Now imagine that same cold mechanical sound makes you feel something, like deeply. Maybe it makes you want to cry, or it fills you with this sense of hope.
It's soulful.
It's soulful. It's a paradox, right? Because in our heads, robots aren't supposed to have souls.
Machines don't feel things. They process data. And yet that contradiction, that friction between the machine and the emotion, that's the entire foundation of what we're talking about today.
It's what people call the moment when robots learn to feel.
Mm-hmm.
We are doing a deep dive today into the origins of techno. And I know for a lot of people, techno is just a catch-all for any electronic music that's on at 3 a.m.
Boots and cats, yeah.
But today, we're zooming in on Detroit. Because while Chicago was inventing house, which is a whole different vibe, disco community, we'll get to it, Detroit was cooking up something darker, something more futuristic.
And honestly, it's a sound you just can't understand unless you understand the specific collapse of that city in the 1980s. It's a fascinating look at how geography and economics don't just influence art, they dictate it.
To guide us through this, we've pulled our research from a few places, but we're really focusing on a detailed breakdown from the Masters of the Mix documentary series.
It's a great source. It strips away all the rave mythology and just looks at the facts on the ground, treats the music like a historical document.
So here's our mission. We're going to figure out how 3 high school friends from the suburbs changed global music, how the implosion of the auto industry literally shaped the sound.
And we have to unpack this philosophy called Afrofuturism that's like baked right into the beat. I think the best place to start isn't with the machines, though. It's with the teenagers.
The Holy Trinity, as they're called. Juan Atkins, Derrick May, and Kevin Saunderson. The Belleville Three.
And the setting here is so important. We're not in downtown Detroit yet. We're at Belleville High School, early 1980s.
A predominantly white, middle-class suburb.
Right, about 30 miles out from the city. And
Yeah.
Atkins, May, and Saunderson were some of the only black students in the entire school.
That's a specific kind of isolation, isn't it? You've got that classic outsider thing happening.
Completely. They didn't quite fit in with the suburban white kids, but because they were in the suburbs, they were also kind of removed from the city's black community. They were in this cultural limbo.
Stranded between two worlds.
And when that happens, you turn inward. You create your own world.
Yeah.
For them, that bond was music, but not just any music.
This is the part that always gets me. You'd expect them to be listening to Motown or early hip-hop.
Oh, they were. They loved Parliament Funkadelic, Prince, that's the groove, the heritage, but they were equally, if not more, obsessed with European electronics. Kraftwerk from Germany, Giorgio Moroder from Italy, Yellow Magic Orchestra from Japan.
That is a wild playlist for kids in the Midwest in 1981. You've got the funk, which is so loose and groovy, and then you have Kraftwerk, which is, well, it's 4 German guys pretending to be robots.
It seems like a contradiction, but to them it made perfect sense. They saw the connection was technology, and they each brought a different energy to that mix.
Okay, let's break that down, because the sources give them these cool archetypes. First up, Juan Atkins.
The visionary. He was the oldest, the mentor figure. He was already messing with synthesizers in a group called Cybertron. Juan was the one who saw the big picture, the philosophy behind it all.
Then you have Derrick May, the artist.
Or the emotional one. May was less about the tech for tech's sake. He was chasing a feeling. He wanted to make music that could, tear your heart out. He brought the drama.
And Kevin Saunderson, the pragmatist.
Saunderson was the muscle. He understood the commercial side of things. While Juan was theorizing and Derrick was painting with sound, Kevin was figuring out how to structure it so people would actually buy it.
But they all had this shared goal, to create electronic music that reflected their reality.
And that reality, that post-industrial landscape,
Yeah.
that is the absolute key to this whole story. You can't get techno without getting what Detroit looked like in the 80s.
Let's paint that picture. Because for most of us, the 80s means neon, pop music, Wall Street booms. Detroit was not that.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It was a city in total freefall. The whole place was built on the auto industry, Ford, GM, Chrysler. But in the 70s and 80s, the engine just stalled.
Globalization, automation.
All of it. The jobs just disappeared. And that triggered a massive white flight to the suburbs.
Taking the tax base with them.
Exactly. So the city was left predominantly black and economically devastated. We're talking about a total hollowing out. Crumbling infrastructure, abandoned factories everywhere.
So these three teenagers are looking out at this landscape of what? Rusting assembly lines and empty buildings?
It looked post-apocalyptic. And this is the aha moment for the genre. The environment dictated the sound. Techno sounds mechanical because Detroit was mechanical.
It sounds cold because of the empty factories were cold.
Yes. The rhythmic clank of the music is the ghost of the assembly line.
That's powerful.
But here's the brilliant part. It wasn't just reflecting the decay. They were using futurism as an escape. They were imagining what comes after the collapse.
So it's a survival mechanism.
Totally. They were asking, okay, the industrial age is dead. What's next? They were building a soundtrack for a future that hadn't happened yet because the present was just too bleak.
I love that. It's not about the ruins, it's about building something new from the scrap. And the sources point out a big racial element to this, too.
A huge one. I mean, think about electronic music in the early 80s. Depeche Mode, Gary Newman, Kraftwerk. It was seen as white European music.
The industry expected black musicians to stick to R&B or soul.
Precisely. So for the Belleville Three to grab synthesizers and drum machines, they were making a statement. They were reclaiming technology as black art. It was like they were saying, we're part of the future too.
Hacking the narrative. Okay, let's get into the sound itself. If we were to break down the musical DNA of techno, what are the ingredients?
It's really a collision of two worlds. The two most important ingredients are Kraftwerk and Parliament Funkadelic.
Germany meets Detroit.
Literally. From Kraftwerk, you get the structure, the robotic, hypnotic, mathematical grid.
And from Parliament.
That's the blood in the veins, the groove, the soul, and, this is important, the cosmic themes. George Clinton's whole mothership connection thing, aliens, spaceships.
So you've got the cold precision of German engineering mixed with the sweaty cosmic soul of American funk.
That's it. Juan Atkins has this great quote. He said he wanted to make music that sounded like Kraftwerk stuck in an elevator with George Clinton and Bootsy Collins.
I love that image. The sterile mechanical box of the elevator containing this explosive funk energy. But how did they even find this stuff? This is pre-internet.
That's where a local legend comes in. You cannot tell this story without talking about the electrifying mojo.
A radio DJ.
Charles the Electrifying Mojo Johnson on station WGPR. His show was glorious anarchy. He completely ignored the segregated radio formats of the time.
What do you mean by segregated formats?
Well, you had your rock stations, your urban stations, your pop stations. They didn't cross over. But Mojo didn't care. He'd play the B-52s, then Prince, then a 20-minute Kraftwerk track.
Wow.
It was revolutionary. He exposed Detroit's black youth to sounds they would never hear otherwise. He was the funnel for all these weird global sounds. Without him, you don't get the cross-pollination.
Okay, so we've got the contest, we got the sound, but I need to clear something up. House music from Chicago, techno from Detroit. To the untrained ear, what is the actual difference?
It's a great question. It's both philosophical and technical. It's about the intention.
Okay, walk us through it.
House music comes from disco and gospel. It's about community, joy. It says, let's dance together. It feels warm, organic.
And techno?
Techno is more introspective. It's darker. If house is a block party, techno is a space station. It's more cerebral. It's thinking music you can dance to.
And what about the technical specs?
Generally, techno is faster. Usually 130 to 150 beats per minute, where house is more like 120 to 130. And the sounds in techno are harsher, more industrial, metallic.
And the structure is different, right? House has those big buildups and drops.
Right. House is all about the release. Techno is about relentless forward motion. It's designed to put you in a trance. It's hypnotic, not explosive.
Vocals.
House loves a big, soulful diva vocal. In techno, the voice is just another instrument. It's chopped up, robotic, a texture.
Got it. So house is warm, techno is cold. But, and this is the paradox we keep coming back to, the sources all insist techno is emotional.
It is. It just uses mechanical sounds to express very human feelings, like alienation or determination. It's not emotionless. It's the emotion of a human trying to survive inside the machine.
The blues of the computer age.
I like that. That's good.
So let's talk about the tracks that actually define this. If I'm making a playlist, what are the essentials?
You have to start with proto-techno. That's Cybertron, Juan Atkins' early group. Check out Alleys of Your Mind or Clear.
Clear is a classic. It's got that electro-funk, breakdancing vibe.
It's the DNA. But for the first true techno record, where the genre really becomes itself, you look at Juan's solo project, Model 500. The track is No UFOs from 1985.
And what are we hearing there?
It's just minimal, stripped back, Driving drums, a relentless bass line. It's not trying to impress you. It's trying to lock you into a groove.
And then Derrick May brings the emotion.
Oh, he does. Under the name Rhythm is Rhythm, the anthem is Strings of Life from '87. That track changed everything.
Why was it so significant?
Because it doesn't really have a bass line. It's driven by these frantic, sweeping piano and string samples over heavy drums. It proved this cold music could be epic and euphoric. It's just beautiful.
And finally, Kevin Saunderson brings it to the masses.
With his group Inner City. You know these songs. Big Fun, Good Life.
Oh yeah, Good Life is still everywhere.
Saunderson added vocals, real song structures. They became huge pop hits. He proved you could polish the Detroit sound for the world without losing its soul.
So we have the sound, the songs, but what really elevates this for me is the philosophy behind it. They were actually reading sociology books.
They were. Juan Atkins was a deep thinker. He got the name techno from a book by the futurist Alvin Toffler called The Third Wave.
Which was about the shift from the industrial to the technological age.
Exactly. Atkins saw the music as a sociological commentary. He was creating the soundtrack for that third wave of society.
And that ties right back into Afrofuturism.
Yes, and this is the part that just gives me chills. In a segregated, struggling city, the act of imagining a high-tech future where black people are driving the technology, that was an act of radical optimism.
Radical optimism, that's a powerful phrase.
Because it defies the narrative of failure and decline. It says we belong in the future. Following people like Sun Ra and Parliament, techno created a space where it was okay for humans and machines to coexist.
And this played out in the real world, in the parties.
It did. At the Music Institute, the first real techno club, and at the underground warehouse parties. The key thing is that these spaces were racially mixed.
Which was rare for Detroit at the time.
Very rare. You had black kids from the city, white kids from the suburbs, everyone together on the dance floor. The music created this little utopia in a segregated city.
It's ironic, though, that for all this deep local history, most people associate techno with Europe, right? Berlin, London.
That's the great irony. It became massive in the UK and Germany, often before it was fully celebrated at home. The Europeans really latched onto that futuristic energy.
Why Berlin specifically?
Well, think about Berlin in the late 80s, early 90s. The walls coming down, there are tons of abandoned industrial spaces, a sense of a new future being born. The soundtrack fit perfectly. But for a while, the Detroit originators were overlooked.
Has that changed?
Thankfully, yes. Today, Detroit hosts the Movement Festival. It draws hundreds of thousands of people. Techno is finally recognized as Detroit's gift to the world, just like the Model T was.
So let's bring it home. We start with 3 kids in a basement, watching the world they knew crumble. They take robotic sounds from Germany, mix it with soulful funk.
And they create a survival mechanism. They turn the sound of the factory that replaced their parents' jobs into a sound of liberation and art.
It really changes how you hear the music. It's not just beep boop. It's a complex philosophical statement.
It's about our relationship with machines. The instruments are machines, but the feelings are 100% human.
Which brings us to the big question for today, the thought to leave you with.
Right. So if the collapse of the industrial age in Detroit created techno, a sound that was mechanical yet soulful, a way of coping with a world where robots replaced workers,
then what kind of art is our current technological shift creating? We're living through the rise of AI, algorithms, a new kind of automation that's threatening creative jobs.
Exactly. If the Belleville Three were the techno rebels of the 80s, who are the rebels today? Are we the new robots learning to feel? And what will the soundtrack of this revolution sound like?
Something to think about. Thanks for listening to this deep dive into Detroit techno.
Keep listening.
Catch you next time.